And I'm not talking about asking these questions in spaces. We need to ask very strong questions for some of us who have maybe the platform, excuse me to say, to ask these questions. The onus is on us now to ask these questions. How is Rahman continuously starting on the Black Stars? I think for players like Atizigi, he's come in, he's put in a fair shift. Today, I wasn't impressed with Daniel Amartey. Daniel Amartey was mistiming tackles. He was misplacing passes all over the place, especially in the first half. Every time he got the ball, I understand the transition. He wanted to find Partey so the ball progresses very smoothly. I like that. But if you're unable to find your defensive midfielder, who happens to be the shield in front of defense, you are left exposed. We survived 2 very dangerous attacks due to Daniel Amartey's ineffectiveness in finding the man closest to him. And I think these are big questions that we need to ask. These are things that we need to get on and ask ourselves, how is it that we're making these basic mistakes in times like these? The World Cup, the biggest platform, we expected our biggest players to be functional, to be effective. Unfortunately, we couldn't do that. Unfortunately, we couldn't get that on. And so Andre, Daniel Amartey, Rahman are the biggest culprits why the Black Stars have failed to get to the knockout phase. Otto is, for me, the biggest failure in this game. He had his selection totally wrong. He had his tactics totally wrong. We didn't have a game plan in the first half. Maybe anyone can just call my bluff and say, you know what, this was the pattern of play in the first half. We didn't have a pattern. And the moment Andre missed the penalty, I go back to that. The moment Andre missed that penalty, we knew it was gone. We knew the game was gone. We just knew it. He lacked confidence on the ball. He couldn't even stop the ball. But then again, big ups to players like Kudus. I mean, he didn't have the best game, and he functions on supply. And the supply from the back, like I said, through Amartey and Rahman were very suspect. Salisu and Seidu were very, very good on the day as well. Very confident, very calm, very composed. Salih Summit, my word, what a player. Kudus, very good player as well. Inaki Williams was making very good runs. And for me, I think that Otto, if he's going to continue, I doubt he's going to continue though, but whoever leads the technical team needs to find a very good transition pattern that finds Inaki Williams. He's a very dangerous player. I remember interviewing fans before the Portugal game, and every single Portuguese player said, you know what, we are scared of Inaki because they watch La Liga. They know what he does in Bilbao. Even if he doesn't score in every game, which obviously he doesn't, he is a very dangerous player for any team. He's a very dangerous player for any defense because he's very explosive. He runs into channels. He knows how to find spaces and create space for himself. But unfortunately, a lot of these runs aren't found by our creative players. Kudus is a corporate. Andre is a corporate. Partey, Salis are all corporates. Sometimes, the only times that we found Inaki have been long balls from Salisu. There is a problem. And I think that, yes, we'll go back to the drawing board, obviously, but it's just painful knowing that you needed a single point and we didn't have a game plan from the blast of the first whistle. Because the moment the whistle went off, I expected to see a certain pattern. If we're defending like we did against Portugal in the first half, frustrate them, and then find a goal in the second half or something, maybe that was a pattern. That was a strategy. I'd like to see that. Even if it failed, there was a strategy. There was no strategy in this one. We seemed all over the place. And I think that, yes, I've become emotional, but it's obviously because I just felt very disappointed when I saw certain plays by these players. Kamaldeen came on and was electric the moment he did. Kovic was very decent when he did. And I'm happy that we still keep faith with some of these players. I think that Kovic is unlucky because then he has Partey and Samet and Elisha Owusu to contend with. But every time he comes on, he is quite productive, except for, I think, the game against Portugal. He seemed out of place. Maybe the occasion, overrode him. But I want to see a better Black Stars going forward. It's too late to say that because we have no more games in this World Cup. But it is really unfortunate that we have to exit this way. And I think that the mentality, and no one is talking about this, but the last 5 minutes, the 85th minute, when the group standings was displayed on the giant screen in the stadium, suddenly, when the Black Stars players realized that Uruguay were third and needed one goal to qualify, suddenly the mentality of the Black Stars players switched. Everybody, especially Kudus, and I don't know why none of the senior players shouted on him. He seemed to want to slow the game down because, hey, it's like, okay, so let's go out with Uruguay. Are you kidding me? It's not just him.
No, he's not kidding.
I saw some other players calming. Atisiki, for example, saved a ball and kept the ball for about 10 seconds. My word, what sort of mentality is this? You want to go out with someone and that is what you are happy. Let the fans do that.
No, I mean,
You
that's
are
the
a player.
Konaboka, yeah.
Let the fans do that. You are there to do a job. Do you know what happens if you got a goal in the 87th minute? We've seen teams score 3 goals in 3 minutes. Are we saying that the Black Stars weren't capable of getting a goal in the final 8 minutes of added time? That if we scored a goal before the 90th minute, we weren't capable of getting another goal? Is that what we are saying? Because obviously, you move from 1 to 2. So you fight for the 1, and then the second follows. That's my last point. My last point is I don't understand why the mentality switched to a very negative one. And I call it negative not because we were trying to avoid an embarrassment of goals. We were basically trying to keep Uruguay out of the knockout phase, and I'm happy about that. But it shouldn't be as a result of stifling goals out of us. It meant that we had given up at a point. The players couldn't care going forward. How do you calm a game down? How on earth do you calm a game down in the 85th minute when you are not leading by 2-0? You are losing by 2-0 and you are calming a game down. It's a young team. I'll forgive them. But they had a technical team full of experienced players, former internationals. And I was right there behind a technical team, and I was behind a dugout, and I couldn't hear a single shout, a single scream from any of the technical members to surge forward. A lack of urgency, and nobody cared. Nobody cared. We were just there. They were just rooted to their seats. Otto was quite animated, but that was it. Nobody could tell anyone to hurry it up, hurry the ball. The last 15 minutes, the only player that was hurrying the ball, I saw a bit of urgency for Rahman. Nobody would like to listen to that anyway. But nobody, besides Kamaldeen, nobody was hurrying the ball. Nobody was in a hurry to find players in the box. Kudus was tired. I would forgive him. But besides Kamaldeen, nobody was in a hurry to find people in dangerous areas. You don't win the Africa Cup of Nations like that. You don't progress the knockout stages of the World Cup like that. Those are big milestones we want to achieve. We want to win the AFCON. We want to get to higher places in the World Cup. You don't do that with mentality like this. If it was Uruguay that was that was trailing, by no means were they going to calm it down because they wanted to exit for Ghana. What sort of low-life mentality is that? But then again, like I said, the fans were calling for that, and so it got into the heads of the players. But as professionals, not every chance is good for you. Some you consider noise. You block it out and you play your game. Unfortunately, today we allowed the occasion to get to us. The players couldn't play their game, and in the end, we lost in a very painful way, knowing only a single point could have taken us to the next stage. How is it that South Korea, who were crying in the previous game, get to qualify? We just lost the plot. We had our destiny in our hands, and we lost the plot. And the training grounds yesterday, I spoke to Henry Asantuchum, the communications director. I spoke to quite a number of